one of my favorite Bible stories comes from 2 Kings chapter 6. Now, if you're doing the Bible challenge, you probably read through this one a while back. But there was a prophet named Elijah who served as the mouthpiece of God to Israel during Old Testament times. And during that time, too, there was the king of Syria who wanted to overtake the king of Israel. But God loved Israel so much, he wanted to protect it. So every time the king of Syria and his men would camp somewhere to ambush the king of Israel, God would reveal it to Elijah, and Elijah would in turn warn the king of Israel, saying, "Don't pass through this place because the king of Syria is waiting to ambush you." And this happened so many times that the king of Syria was like, "What in the world is going on?" And of course, he grows angry. And then he sends his whole army against Elijah. Now, during that time, Elijah also had a servant, and the servant went out and he sees this huge army coming towards him. And of course, he does what any normal person would do. He becomes very afraid. But isn't that our response when difficult things come? When we feel the enemy, Satan, is attacking us, we become afraid. We lose heart. We become discouraged, even angry, because we can only see what's in front of us, and we forget the good that's around us. We lose our vision. We no longer see God as a good God. So to continue our story, Elijah also comes out. He sees this huge army, but instead of becoming afraid, he turns to his servant and says, "Don't fear, for greater are those who are with us than those who are against us." And then Elijah proceeds to pray a very bold prayer. And he asks God to open the spiritual eyes of his servant. And God answers that prayer. And his servant's eyes are opened, and he sees this huge heavenly army surrounding them with fire and chariots. And then I'm like, yes, I love that vision. And if this were to happen to you or I today, hopefully we would see some like huge tanks, right? But I think this is a beautiful example that in any trial, our first step is to pray and not worry and become afraid. To pray, God, give me a heavenly perspective of what I'm going through right now, because I don't want to lose hope. I don't want to be discouraged. I want to run my race well. So my prayer and my hope is that you and I would have a heavenly perspective as the world continues to grow dark around us. For some of us, including myself, during this time, I feel that the world is against me. You might feel that the world is against you. But take heart, because greater are those who are with us than those who are against us. Take that with you. Hold on to it as you move forward in your journey. This is the story behind Open My Eyes.